An unattractive woman was buying vegetables. Unexpectedly, she ran into a foreigner. He couldn't tell the types of vegetables apart. The woman decided to step forward and help him. After learning what kind of dish the man wanted to make, she took him shopping while explaining each vegetable. The man also took out his notebook. He carefully wrote down the name of each vegetable she mentioned. Soon, the two of them became good friends. Before leaving, the man gratefully asked for the woman's name and solemnly wrote it down in his notebook. The woman said she was in a hurry to cook for her son at home, so she left first. The woman thought it was just a chance encounter. Little did she know she had met someone very important who would later help her son secure a $100 billion deal. Though the woman was unattractive, her son was the CEO of a publicly traded company that day. The CEO learned that James, the chairman of the Global Chamber of Commerce, was coming to negotiate a deal worth $100 billion. The CEO also wanted to win this collaboration because if he could secure it, his company would rise to the next level. But his assistant said James couldn't be found and no company had been contacted by him. This left the assistant very puzzled. The CEO believed James was hiding his identity and secretly investigating the bidding company. At noon, the mother came to deliver lunch to her son. She overheard her son worrying about what to serve the guest. Then she thought of the foreigner she met earlier that day. He really liked Chinese food, so she suggested her son serve Chinese cuisine. But the assistant strongly objected. He argued that the tastes between the two countries were different, and the guest might not like the food. Seeing his mother still wanting to argue, the CEO began to hesitate. He asked his mother what the man's name was, but his mother had forgotten. Looking at his earnest mother, the CEO decided to follow her suggestion to serve Chinese food to the guest and asked his mother to cook. His mother initially wanted to refuse, but after hearing her son's encouragement, she finally agreed to help. The next day was James's welcome banquet. The attendees were all renowned business elites, but in their arrogance, they didn't want the CEO to host the event. They wanted to object, but the CEO's company was now worth more than all of theirs, so they had no choice but to keep quiet. Still, every word they said was full of sarcasm and provocation. The CEO, seeing their smug faces, calmly asked someone to serve tea. Seeing the CEO so indifferent, they became extremely angry. They began mocking the CEO's background. The CEO finally responded. Looking at the ones who only knew how to mock him, he calmly told how 3 years ago, after he resolved a company crisis, their companies began to decline. Seeing them fall silent, the assistant quickly had the menu brought in. When the group saw the menu in their hands, they seemed to have found another reason to mock the CEO. They immediately tore up the menu. They mocked the CEO's company for being cheap and insulted his mother's appearance. Just as the CEO was about to lose his temper, his mother arrived at the banquet hall. Seeing everyone mocking her, she quickly covered her face and tried to leave, afraid she was embarrassing her son. At that moment, the CEO grabbed her arm, but she didn't want her son to acknowledge her. She quickly denied their relationship. Seeing his hesitant mother, the CEO seriously introduced his mother to everyone, but was met with cruel laughter. They thought the food made by his mother would surely not be to Mr. James's liking. They believed the CEO had no hope of getting the deal and asked someone to bring out their gifts. Seeing every gift they brought out were antiques worth millions of dollars, the woman immediately felt she had embarrassed her son again. She quickly apologized, but the CEO stopped her, telling her to trust him. At that moment, James finally arrived. The mother feared her appearance would scare the guests. She told her son she was going to check the kitchen, then she left. But what she didn't know was the guest was the foreigner she had helped the day before. After his mother left, the CEO had the dishes brought in, but everyone mocked the food as cheap. They immediately asked for it to be taken away and showed off the gifts they had prepared. But James only glanced at them and refused their million-dollar gifts. At that moment, the woman walked in with the food she had prepared, only to be ridiculed by everyone. She immediately wanted to leave, but James recognized her. He quickly stopped and grabbed her. At that moment, she finally recognized James. She never expected the guest her son was hosting was the same man she had met just yesterday. Everyone looked at James in shock. She pulled James to sit and try her cooking. Hearing it was her cooking, James looked at the dishes in shock. After one bite, he began praising her cooking nonstop. Seeing James so satisfied, the others still felt bitter. They quickly claimed her cooking was unhygienic. Hearing that, James became furious. He scolded them for their rude behavior and decided to expel them from the chamber. He would never work with them again. They tried to plead, but James told them to apologize to the woman. Seeing them beg humbly, the woman decided to forgive them and pleaded with James on their behalf. Seeing such a kind woman, James promised her he wouldn't expel them. But they would not be part of this deal and gave his $100 billion order to the CEO's company.
Don't just watch the story, live it with us. Hit subscribe and never miss the moments that touch the soul.